Thank you. President James Crawford. Present. Vice President Shamika Brown. Here. Trustee Shirley Baker. Trustee Kathy Corbin. Here. Trustee Felice Holder. Trustee Gerard Morris. Trustee Letitia Walker. That completes the roll call.
In a moment, I'm going to call upon Dr. Kwan to do a presentation for you. Let me just give you a little context as to that. As you may be aware, that the New York State, the Department of Education, the Board of Regents, had mandated the formation of a Blue Ribbon Commission. This was in 2019. A group of educators and stakeholders represented all over New York State convened and for several years worked on a blueprint in terms of graduation requirements and the future of education in New York State. there are far-reaching implications. Uh, Basically, this will probably revolutionize education in the state. And I thought as a first step, in order to bring the board up to speed, that we have a presentation tonight. Dr. Kwan has worked on this, and we'll kind of lay that out for you. And at a point, I'll summarize at the end of her presentation. Okay, Dr. Kwan.
Thank you so much. Good evening to the Board of Education. So this is very exciting information. Actually, like once I really started to dig into this, which was a couple of years ago, it just seems to really make you think about the possibilities. So today's goal in the presentation is to share an overview of the New York State Education Department's Blue Ribbon Commission recommendations on graduation requirements. This will have ripple effects on middle school and elementary school curricular structures and supports. And today we're going to focus mostly on a curricular lens to the impact of these graduation requirements. So, the Blue Ribbon Commission goals. As Dr. Ehrenstein had mentioned, it is to develop recommendations for revolutionary shifts to ensure all students have pathways, that is, choices to fulfill rigorous graduation standards. Yes? No, that's okay.
Thank you, sir. Uh, but let me say this though, if with the meeting notice saying that the Board of Education is going to executive session at 5:30, my question, no, but I'm just saying though that if they do come, what would they be observing or what information will they then take in when they would have missed the opportunity to hear this good information when we decided to present it earlier than anticipated or scheduled? To prolong the meeting by doing it twice. Well, we could stop at the first slide. Madam Attorney, I have a question for you. Uh, is the board now in violation of open meetings law and notified the community that it would have a school board meeting to take place at 5:30 p.m., going into executive session, but not following that agenda as printed? Especially when we propose to the community that we will then give them information at 7 o'clock. could. Thank you. And then it would not make sense to repeat the same presentation that you presented at 5:30 at 7 p.m. And then the Board of Education will not have an opportunity to go into executive session to handle the necessary business that it must conduct in executive session. Motion to go into executive session to handle the business that's on the executive session agenda.
Welcome, everybody. Uh, just a minute or so in the way of introduction. New York State's blue ribbon recommendation. Okay. The state back in 2019 organized a blue ribbon commission made up of stakeholders from all over New York State, including educators, business people, lay people, etc. They had worked on this set of recommendations for about 4 years. They made a presentation, recommendations to the Board of Regents. It was accepted. They're still working on implementation plans for the recommendations that they have. Districts are being introduced to what this is all about. I think it's very important for the board and for the public to understand just what has gone into this. And I want to make clear that the recommendations are revolutionary, that they're basically going to change the way in which we deliver our educational programs, to curriculum, instruction, special services, and that the whole thought behind it is that our students would benefit from it. So I'm going to ask Dr. Kwan to walk you through just what this is all about, make some, I'll give you some recommendations, what you're going to need to deal with, and then we'll open it up for discussion from the board. We have a second presentation regarding an app that we would like to adopt, and Dr. Bonet is here with a couple of folks who are involved in the creation of that application, and they're going to fill you in on that. It's very exciting, and I think you'll be really impressed with that as well. So with that, I'm going to turn you over to Dr. Kwan.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening to the community and especially our Board of Education. So today's goal is to share just an overview of the New York State Education Department's Blue Ribbon recommendations in terms of graduation. There are many facets, many perspectives, but today we're going to focus just a little bit in terms of curriculum. This work has a ripple effect across elementary children and middle school children, and so we want to just look at what those structures, systems, support systems we may have to put in place to make sure we support this initiative with graduation. So first thing is the goals of Blue Ribbon. And it's interesting because when we first started talking about it, many of us were a little bit confused because there's something called the Blue Ribbon schools. And so many people thought, oh, Blue Ribbon Commission, maybe this is about the Blue Ribbon schools, but this is something separate from that. There are very high expectations for Blue Ribbon schools, and I'm sure maybe there was some influence in that. But there were representatives all over New York State from every type of school, every type of education that came together in a thought exchange to really think about how we need to move in terms of education and graduation requirements. It's every school from large public schools, small public schools, charter schools, private schools, and the school all the way that has like 5 kids somewhere where there's like a lot of nature. And I don't know, I'm not a big nature person, so, but the point is that everybody was represented in terms of moving this forward. So if we take a look at the goals, some of the key words are revolutionary shifts, pathways, which are choices to fulfill rigorous graduation standards. So what does this mean for us at Wyandanch? This means that we have this exciting opportunity to talk about how we can prepare our students for jobs that don't exist yet, using technology that hasn't even been invented yet, and then in order to solve problems that we don't even know are problems yet. Okay? So, the why. why are we doing this? We need to talk about this because in terms of our success and sustainability in the work, we need to understand the why. So if we look here, is there anybody here who doesn't know about, everybody's experienced Blockbuster here? Okay, so I don't feel as like, right? So remember when Blockbuster was like the thing, right? And for me, when it changed from videotapes to CDs, it was like mind blowing. This is so cool, right? And then when it was like, right? And then now, so what happened was there were a few people who were working for Blockbuster who went to the execs in Blockbuster and said, hey, we have this idea, this Netflix idea, and we think it'd be really cool. Do you guys remember when like you would get the video, the CD in the mail, and then they'd be like, oh, you just put it back in your mailbox and they pick it up, and that was like the new thing, right? So Netflix went to Blockbuster. They were employees of Blockbuster and stated, hey, we want to pitch this idea. Well, Blockbuster said, no, we're good. We're doing so well. We don't need to change. We don't need to be forward thinking. And now I think the only Blockbuster that's left is in Oregon, and I think it's a museum or something. I think it's like that. So this is really important because we can't just be good enough because we think we have success. We have to continue to be forward thinking. This is our why. And we have to continue to support our students' ideas and our students' visions. What Blockbuster did was not listen to the people who are working for them. And our why is to make sure that we validate our students' voices and our students' interests. Can you flip it for me? Okay, great. So the next two slides, just quickly, this is our current model in terms of graduation, 22 credits, regents, right? Very simple. This is our assessment model. We have 3 to 8 testing. We do regents testing. We test for science in certain grade levels, and we have NICESLAT testing, and this is our current model. This here is the transformation. This is a mandate coming from the state. This is not something that we can adapt to or we can kind of work if it fits for us. This is the mandate that's coming down. Number 1, we will adopt New York State Portrait of a Graduate. Number 2, we will redefine credits and learning experiences. Number 3, we will sunset diploma assessment requirements. And number 4, we are going to move to 1 New York State high school diploma. So real quick, this is going to be the wheel that everybody will love. And we're going to see this all over the place. Because now it is not just about mastery of content, it is about mastery of skill and proficiency in each of these skills across all content areas. Innovative problem solver, literate across content areas, cultural competence, social emotional competence, effective communicator, global citizen, critical thinker. You know, we have that difference between IQ and EQ, right? It's like that EQ piece where we have to be proficient in these skill areas and not just mastery of content. We have to now look at content as the vehicle that we can use to exercise and adapt and use these skills within content. So content would be like the Velcro that we use to build these skills. These are the K through 12 essential skill recommendations. These are the skills that our state is now saying, which I think we all knew, right, for a very long time. These are important skills, and all of these skills go into each of those components of this wheel. So the second transformation is redefining credits. So it's not just about seat time and if you complete a course, right? It's about how we do that. And where are we in Wyandanch right now? We have a lot of great things going. I think embedded in our culture here in Wyandanch, we look to find ways and find the strengths of our students to get them through, right? Some of our students have a lot of challenges, and we find ways. What are your interests? What motivates you? And so we have so much already in place that we just need to develop. So for example, CTE, we are growing our CTE program. Ms. Kane, who is the AP at the high school, has been the front runner as part of the building administration. We have an amazing barbering program. We are building a cosmetology program, and we're looking to further that and also create micro certifications in that area. We also already have a work-based coordinator, and so we're looking to create more outside experiences for our students. And we already have, under the leadership of Dr. Jordan, the early college P-Tech program has already been in this district, so we are really moving ahead in a lot of these areas. Also, for the New York State credentials and seals, we already have the seal of biliteracy, and we are in the process of achieving our seal of civic readiness. And I wanted to commend the high school for really taking that charge to have the seal of civic readiness in our schools. But this is also something that we need to collaborate with middle school and on the elementary level.
Quick question.
Yes.
When did we get the silver by literacy?
So we are.
Director B&L said we were going to.
So once I think he just did, was part of the presentations or will be part of the presentations. And once that first leg is completed, we will officially have that seal. But we are literally this close, and we are at the end of the process, and we will officially have the seal of biliteracy.
So we don't already have it?
We don't already have it, correct. But at the same time, we are literally days away from officially having it, yes.
Got it. And then secondly, as it pertains to approved work-based or service-based learning
Yes.
experiences, New York State has already had that in place.
Yes, they have.
Not we tapped into it, it's our fault. However, for the last 5 to 6 years now, I've said that we have students who unfortunately are not able to go to school because they have to work to provide for their families. So that is something that we can put in place or should have put in place already, rather than wait for the Blue Ribbon Commission to tell us something that we should have already done.
So you're absolutely right, but at the same time, all of this has been in the works in terms of making sure that we have teachers who are certified to be work-based learning. We also are looking for opportunities for students who have to work after school to use that work as part of the credits for what they need. And so it's coming into place.
But as it pertains to work-based or service-based learning experiences, it really does not require a certified teacher. It requires the district to say that, let's say you're working at Walmart, so to speak. Because of that on-the-job training or experience you may have, we're going to give you credit for that. That does not involve teaching staff. That involves administration doing what they're supposed to do to ensure that the students receive the proper credit so they can graduate.
I agreed to a certain point. The point is that we also needed a certified work-based service coordinator to make sure that they can coordinate the service and make sure that all the paperwork and the credits were done in an effective, efficient manner where everything is recorded. We do have an administrator who is overseeing what is going on, but we had to have a work-based coordinator who was certified to be able to do that, and we were able to support a teacher, Mr. Milch, in the high school to be able to have that certification, and now we're moving forward. Okay. All right, so the third transformation is the sunset. So this is a really great, if we think of the sunset, right, the sun is going down. So what this is just saying, and I put the word decouple because that is a word that the state is using, and I think it's very important for us to understand that academic vocabulary in terms of the Blue Ribbon Commission, is that now we are not highlighting the regions as much in terms of a requirement for graduation. So we are waiting for the state to give us those parameters and give us those expectations, but decoupling means that the Regents exams will not be the only option. Passing Regents exams or mastering Regents exams will not be the only option towards graduation. It would still be an option for those children who love taking tests and that's their thing, but in terms of graduation for all, it does not have to be the only option, but it will still be an option. Yes. It has not.
All right, so during my administrative phase, we had the guidance counselors who coordinated the work schedule and the scheduling in terms of those students that could not come to school because of work. It was
So here in Wyandanch, from what I've observed so far, the guidance counselors are there to make sure that if there is work-based credit, that they receive that credit towards graduation in terms of, let's say, CDOS or any type of CTE graduation requirements. But because of the extent of requirements to be able to receive that pathway, we need to have a work-based learning coordinator, and we need to also have a system put in place to be able to record all of the internship work, the work-based credit work. But I know with the guidance staff, and I'm sure Dr. Pepper would be able to further explain this, but with guidance, it is their responsibility, from my understanding, it is their responsibility to make sure that those credits are entered into transcripts.
But our, and this is, I brought up several times in the district prior to you coming here, we did it straight through our programming. We had the system we bought from BOCES, and through BOCES programming, we were able to court the docket, court everything we needed to do was in our system already. And I brought this up 2020 in terms of we need to change the way we do our programming in our high school and our middle school, because of that our students are lacking. Where we have students that cannot, due to family dynamics, make first period, cannot stay the entire day, and because of life situation, our kids are suffering. And we had a chance to get a system to where assist our students, and we rejected that. I will bring it up again to where it's already built in through the BOCE system and programming when we program our students to where we give them an upper hand.
So I definitely hear that concern, and I'm going to skip the presentation to this part of the Portrait of a Graduate and the Blue Ribbon Commission. What has come down, which starts this in June of 2025, is the major life events exemptions. So what we are in the process of doing in the district is creating the procedures for children who have major life events such as death of family members, maybe a home fire, homelessness, there might be medical challenges, there might be other traumas. We have the right as a local decision in our district and in our schools to determine whether or not a child can be exempt from regents because of, for example, this major life event, and they would still have the opportunity, if they chose to receive an advanced regents diploma. So this is now being put in place because of exactly what you're talking about, President Crawford, of all these life events that are happening. Effective June of 2025, we are implementing, because the state has agreed and did an emergency approval of this policy, to make sure that if we have these types of life-changing situations, that the children can be exempt. They can be exempt from the regents requirement. So that is in place starting June of 2025.
Will they give a full list of examples? Because work is not on this list.
Correct. So this is something where the language is not 100% clear, because we are given local, so it's a case-by-case situation, and we as a district can determine whether, let's say, because of work or financial situations and maybe attendance and other factors, that a child may be exempt from certain regents exams but still will be able to graduate.
So that will require Board of Education policy to be amended, because where the policy currently stands with respect to where the policy currently stands with respect to students making up work, the Board of Education has granted that right to the classroom teacher, and that the teacher is at the teacher's discretion as to whether or not a student should make up work and what they deem to be excused, and for good cause and good reason.
So we can definitely take a look at the policy, but in terms of classroom, this is a little bit different. It is clearly about exemptions for requirements for graduation, specifically the regents exams. So this is something that the policy has already come from the state. So it's not policy that the district necessarily has to do any policy work with. The policy is that we have the local decision-making power with the superintendent and the building administration, PPS, curriculum, to make a decision of whether this child can be exempt from Regents exams and still be able to graduate, and even graduate with a Regents or an advanced Regents diploma without taking the Regents exam.
Students don't have to take the Regents exam anymore, though. So,
What do you mean? Students still?
New York State reported a few months ago that they were taking away the requirement to even take the test.
Well, this is part of the Blue Ribbon Commission and the Portrait of a Graduate. The full implementation will be in 2029, but in initial implementation in 2027. We are still waiting on, this is the timeline directly from the state on what they have to hand into us. So at this point, they still have to take the Regents.
So what I'm not understanding then is, one, what the state reported, and they blasted in all media outlets as them doing a wonderful thing, which is fine. And then Wyandanch School District is saying another thing. So now, with that being said, if we're saying that they will be exempt from taking the Regents exam, which the state already said you don't have to take, what would the exemption be for? Because what Mr. Crawford's point was is that if the major life event hinders the child from coming to school first or second period, how will we respond as a district? That question was not answered.
I think if I could ask for clarification, because I'm not sure if it's directly related to what the state is asking with the major life events. Because the state, starting June 2025, which is in 2 weeks, our children can be exempt from Regents exams because of major life events. And if it means that a child can't come first or second period, we would do an investigation, we would fill out the correct paperwork, and then we can make a local decision of whether that will be approved for exemption of the Regents.
Mr. Crawford, was your question answered? All right, you said move forward, and he said it wasn't, so I'm not the only one.
Okay, and I apologize for the lack of clarity, and I hope that maybe Dr. Pepper or the guidance staff at the high school, we can revisit this and be able to clarify. But for the purposes of the major life events.
It's not on them to revisit it because the directive comes from the state to the superintendent's office to curriculum and instruction to ensure that everyone else from there is implementing it.
Well,
So
a lot of this runs through, and I apologize for interrupting, a lot of this also runs through PPS and guidance.
that is true, but it's not up to the guidance council. It's their
It is
job
not.
to ensure it's being implemented, but it's our job to have an understanding of it to ensure that they are implementing it. But they're not supposed to have a mandated seat at the table to ensure that the district is doing the right thing.
What I'm stating is that we need to have, and I know Dr. Pepper is having extensive conversations with the guidance staff, with the school counselor staff, but the procedures that have been put in place up to this point is something that we are looking at, and we're trying to make improvements to allow for this to happen with fidelity and like in a sustainable manner. So I think that depending on the school or depending on certain procedures based on other building administration in the past, I think there might be we are trying to find a consistent procedure and protocol moving forward.
All right, I'm going to be quiet so that you may continue to present.
Okay, I appreciate
And all my other questions I'll ask at the end and follow up in an email.
Yes, that would
which I'll
be great.
then follow back up at the next board meeting.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. So, just in terms of talking about what we can do as a district, what is on the right in orange is everything that is our responsibility as a district to be able to do, and what is on the left is what we're waiting for from the state in terms of what we have to do. We have some of the information, but like I said, this timeline, they will be giving us more information and steps in terms of what the expectations are. And we are right now in phase one. We will be in phase one of the installation, and by 2027, we will start the initial implementation. But the one thing we are starting in advance, two things, is the financial literacy course at the high school, and also in terms of the major life events, we're going to make sure that our students in June of 2025 will be ready for any exemptions that they have every right to have because of any type of trauma or life-changing experience. Okay, So there are many pathways. I just want to share one in terms of the work that we've already been doing. We've talked about raising the rigor of our curriculum, and AP courses is one of them. I see Ms. Lloyd here, who has done an amazing job in terms of the AP African American Histories course. And we have, I think, at least 30 children excited about the course for next year. If you, for example, look at the arts pathway, you'll see that to have that arts credit, one of the major requirements right now that's available is to take an AP in art or music. So this is something that we're going to look at as the pathways and the directives are coming from the state to add more rigor in those areas as well. So with all of that, and as we've talked about this in our school district and with the leaders, I think Dr. Ernstein will wrap it up and kind of see what our recommendations are moving forward. Thank you.
So, very good. Thank you so much. And I'm sure there'll be questions, and we'll be prepared to answer them. So, the recommendations, we need to create, I would think, in order to implement these recommendations, there's a great deal of planning that's going to have to occur. I would recommend the creation of pathway committees. Would take the requirements that the state is handing down and figure out ways in which we're going to implement each of those pathways. We're going to need a great deal of professional development. The way in which teachers teach is going to have to shift. I think an example of one of the major shifts is going to be project-based learning. I see a lot of this, I kind of see it as those of you who are involved in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts in terms of the pathways, getting a merit badge. Remember? I remember getting a merit badge for tying knots. And so there was a list of milestones that you had to demonstrate to the Scoutmaster or various other people in the community, and they'd have to sign off that each of these skills was achieved. And if you achieved all of the skills on the checklist, you got a merit badge. To a great extent, these pathways are going to operate in a very flexible way. Students, in fact, will be able to design some of their own courses of study and be guided by teachers through project-based learning. We're going to have to continue to receive guidance for our English as a new language, the ENL program. Lots of implications for them in terms of these new standards. And there are lots of implications for special education, how we're going to deliver special education and meet these new standards. So lots of work that has to be done. The challenges, you're going to have to pay for all of this. You're going to have to build it into the budget. There'll be shifts in the budget. You're going to spend less money in certain areas, more money in certain areas, but good chance you're going to be spending more money in order to fulfill these recommendations. You're going to need monitoring systems, and by that I mean you're going to need apps, applications, software, because individual students will be moving at their own rate through these pathways, and you're going to have to monitor their progress. You're not going to be able to do it on a course-by-course basis. You're going to have to do it on an individual basis. The only way you're going to keep track of that is through technology, some very powerful technology. That has to be developed, the challenge. We're going to need some staffing because there are going to be new programs that are developed, especially in terms of career and technical education. We're hiring 2 business teachers for next year in terms of taking care of the financial literacy component. There'll be staffing shifts. And when you're building programs, you have to think about the space you have in the buildings. For instance, we're putting in a cosmetology program, and we had to go and dedicate a room, and it's going to take a year to get that place built and up and running. You've got a classroom less. You have a barbering program. You had to go and commandeer a classroom and make that into a barbering program. So you have to take a look at space allocation. That's going to cost money as well. So lots and lots of challenges that lie ahead. And now, kind of a summary. Yes.
The idea is phenomenal, and we're planning to purchase an electric vehicle, and we don't have electricity. And I say that to say we're making these ideas, and we also have to dual plan to where we're already out of space, and there's no talk of development of placement of these. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're taking one classroom, creating something else, and that's taking away from kids that are developing in that. We're not forward thinking. We're thinking now of patchwork, which we constantly and consistently do is patchwork. We're not forward thinking, and again, I'll keep harping on. We have to build the space and plan to build the space. We're not planning to build a space for all these amazing ideas. We have a old school house with no electricity, and we're pulling up in an electrical car. We're not going to be able to charge it overnight. We're going to have to find somewhere else which is going to cost the budget. We're going to have to find somewhere else to charge this car. And we have to dual plan. We're not dual planning. We're throwing stuff against the wall, and then let's figure it out after that. We have to dual plan in order to be successful. They're dual plan right down the street who we're competing against, in which they're gonna, within 5 years, exhaust our budget, especially if they build a high school, which they're planning on. But we're behind the 8 ball, and we're got these amazing ideas, but nowhere to plug the car into at all. And so we have to dual plan. We're not dual planning. These things are amazing. I'm not taking away from that. But where are we going to place it is the question. We have the space. It's not a matter of space. I don't understand why we're afraid to pull the trigger of building a whole new school campus. We shy away from that conversation. We'll do repairs. We'll do patchwork. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chase, we have a 90-some% return rate if it's classrooms, correct? So the funding can be available. Yeah.
That's the theoretical.
Right.
That's for instructional space. Unfortunately, there's a lot of space that isn't.
Right.
In fact,
But you have to do.
even with the early childhood center, the actual aid ratio is probably about 60, under 50. So.
But we could plan even as space that gymnasium we can use as special ed, if I'm not mistaken. That could be dual, and it still falls under classroom setting. You can have a wrestling room which can be used as ABA and other things for special ed, which can be fall under. We're coming to these creative ideas, but we run out of space. Space is limited, in which we have space. We have some of the largest space area in Suffolk County to build on, but we're not thinking about building. That's my point. Sorry.
There's a lot of work that's going to have to go into this. You're absolutely right. You got 4 years to do it. These are state mandates, and this is a first step. It's interesting. Last week, I had a meeting with the surrounding school districts, all around us. There were 8 districts altogether. And I asked the superintendents, these were with superintendents, I asked the superintendents, where are you with the Blue Ribbon Commission recommendations? And they all looked at one another, said nothing, and I said, so what are you doing? And they shook their heads, and they said, we haven't addressed it yet. Okay? First step, you need to be aware of all of this. There needs to be planning. There's going to be a lot of work ahead, a lot of decisions to be made. One of the major decisions is space. but there are a lot of other decisions that have to be made as well. This is basically, hey, heads up, you're going to be dealing with this. So let me summarize. So you're going to replace presently the 3 diploma types with 1, with the option of seals and endorsements, these kind of merit badges that I give you an analogy to. You're going to have to include, in terms of the profile of a graduate, have to deal with classes dealing with ethics, STEM, cultural competency, financial literacy, the arts, and real-world writing skills. There's a real shift in terms of the curriculum. You have to create a management system, and I'm talking about applications, that organize credit requirements in broader categories. You're going to have to monitor students' progress. You must provide exemptions from diploma assessment requirements for extenuating life events. This is something that you were discussing before. I know that Dr. Bonet has been working on this. Very important work. We're going to have to assess to the CTE programs, internships, work-based learning opportunities. That means you're going to have to tap into resources in the community resources, where kids could have internships working in and around the community. You're going to reduce and or modify diploma assessment requirements to allow more assessment options other than Regents exams. You're going to create more detailed and tailored graduation requirements that address unique circumstances. And finally, it's going to require professional development plans to include more culturally responsive practices. So that's kind of a summary of where you are, and we're now open for discussion.
I'm gonna get my questions and put them in writing, so I can see how they change.
Very good. Yes.
Could I just clarify something regarding the CTE and the work-based learning? So you were correct, President Crawford. We've been offering our students CTE for years through Western Suffolk BOCES partnerships. And the high schools here, they can certainly attest, kids would go in the morning or in the afternoon, and all of that was organized and monitored by someone with a work-based learning certificate at Western Suffolk BOCES. Because we sent our kids to BOCES for those programs, we didn't have someone here. But now that we're bringing our own programs with the computer repair and the barbering and the cosmetology, we have to have someone on site. And that's not a new regulation, it's just we haven't fulfilled that part. And the kids have to take 216 hours of work-based learning courses, whether it's a shadowship or an internship or an actual just paid job. And the person who monitors that and makes sure all the boxes are checked and the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed is someone with that work-based learning certificate, which we have in place now. The other piece of that is what some schools call like a life experience credit, which means I go and I work at a daycare first and second period, and it's not something that's necessarily registered with New York State, but that's a policy that the school district would have to set of what the guidelines are for us to award that particular child for high school credit. And what really needs to hold true is it has to be a job skill, a career skill. So something working at a daycare might fall if you at some point wanted to go into education. So those are, I think there were apples and oranges, but they both had the overlay of career. But I just wanted to add that clarification if it helps you, Trustee Morris, with some of the questions that you had.
There's going to be a lot of discussion the next couple of years about all of this, believe me. Okay.
I'm sorry, just a question in terms of certification. What is the requirements for the certification?
It's actually a work-based learning extension. And if you go to like NICEAD Teach, there are just things that can qualify you. I can get it, you can get it, Habersham can get it. It's an extension. You have to take a couple of classes and a couple of tests. It's not prohibitive from any certain NICEAD teaching license.
And just to add to that, many of the business teachers who are getting certified today also come out of school with that work-based learning certification. So this is a perfect time for us as we are hiring 2 business teachers. We've already coordinated with the high school to make sure that they look at the resumes and see if the business teachers also have that work-based learning certificate, which many do come out with when they graduate from the programs.
I just want to add a limitation, particularly speaking to Mr. Crawford's point before about building. There is a limitation in terms of your debt limit as to how much money you can borrow. So if you're thinking about, building a new high school or something like that, you have to take into account what your debt-based limit is, and whether or not that would permit building, this kind of project. Okay, it comes down to money. Okay. Okay. Mr. Wilson?
It takes, right, it takes 60 to 70 million to build a high school. 60, 70.
Now, look at it this way. It's costing 40 million, let's call it, to build an ECC center with 16 classrooms. I don't see a high school being done for that price.
mic not working then.
Question, I'm sorry. First of all, to just say it's an amazing program. Just in terms of, I guess, the budget standpoint of it, is it per person or is it per? Is the what if we purchase it for 10 students or 10 staff members? Per usage or per person? Okay, thank you.
Yes, I have a few. Going back to the piece about crisis intervention, although you said that you all don't directly handle that, what exactly do you have in place to handle a adolescent who may be experiencing crisis in that moment, and all they have is the app to turn to? So how would that look like? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Now, my next question is, okay, I'm gonna put on my county hat for a second here because we did a study on this, and I've had to pull up my report here. The Health and Human Services Consortium reports and the Long Island Health Collaborative surveys found that 78% of those who responded strongly disagreed that here in Suffolk County alone, and I could imagine how it is in Wyandanch, that there were adequate mental health services for youth between the ages of 5 to 24 years old. 77% believe, no, 84% confirmed that there's an increase in health services requests. So, with that being said, uh, how, what would be the assurance be that a text-based app would really assist a youth who is in need of these more of direct services? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Oh, yes. And then my last question for now is, why a text-based approach and not a video chat base? Mm-hmm. Who may be the problem? Now, here's the other caveat, though. Mom or dad had to say yes in order to use the platform. And so they may have the awareness of it. So, but you said the district also can do opt in or opt out, where the kid could be using it, the parent may not know it, and if they find out, the child, well, the parent could say, "Well, I want my child to opt out." How does that look? Okay.
we'd rather give them a safe place to get it. And so the parent has the final decision, whether it's opt in or opt out, and we hope to educate them well enough that they'll say, this is a great thing. Like, my child, has somebody to talk to.
And then one last question. This is my last. As it pertains to data reporting and notification to the school district, although you said that there'll be those monthly reports, will there ever be those referrals for more direct one-on-one counseling and services?
So those would be just when it happens.
Okay.
So we can't tell you that there'll be X amount. We don't know. We hope that we can keep those smaller shoes small, but of course we know we can't. There's always going to be
So let me rephrase my question. When the warm handoff is made, who is it made to? Is it school district personnel or outside mental health personnel?
So we will have a point of contact in your high school and most likely in your middle school.
Mm-hmm.
There's a point of contact on our end, so you're not going to be getting calls from all different counselors. Our director of clinicians actually handles that, and she would reach out to the point of contact at the high school and say, X, Y, and Z, this is why we need this student to be seen, and we've already talked to the student that understands that they need more help. Now, as a staff member, we're not going to go to the counselor, but we are going to give them the suggestions of what the next level of care that they need.
Got it.
And this is actually a school in upstate New York told Nigel this, is that is it 75? Yeah, 75% of the pharmaceutical bills that go through the school district are for mental health, yeah, things like that. So if we can alleviate some of that just by getting the issues smaller, that may even save you money in the long run.
Got it. Thank you. I have a question that is more of an administrative question regarding the grant that we received. The Wyandanch Union Free School District, 2 years ago, I want to say, was the only school district on Long Island to receive the mental health clinic grant. Do we still have that grant in place? It was only a couple of $1,000, but that was.
So the short answer is yes, and you were correct. It's not a lot of money. It does go towards our Northwell Behavior Health Clinic. But I want to add, Board of Education, support operations number 1 for voting next week is the app developers have generously allowed us to use this on a trial basis starting from May 14th through June 30th. And the reason is really threefold. It's one, for us to kind of see if this is going to be a good fit for us. The other is for us to give Eastern Suffolk BOCES hopefully time to bring this on so that we can just use that shared service. We do have a significant aid ratio for something that is student-based. I think it's close to 90%. So when we're looking at something that's $3.30, it's almost free. So them letting us use this free through June 30th gives us that time. And I also want to add, Mr. Sibley's brought this to my attention the day of the last board meeting. And so I know that this is something that is near and dear to your hearts. And I think that having this opportunity can really move us forward, particularly when we're looking at the portrait of the graduate and the different expectations that are put on our students and our staff. In addition, it can be also a cost saving because when we're looking at the usage reports for staff, and you brought it up yourself, Mr. Morse, we can't force people to use EAP. But if more people are using this than EAP, it might be something that maybe we don't have to pay into anymore. So I do want to acknowledge in front of our community what they're willing to do for us just to see if this is a good fit. And I believe on top of that grant, there are other funding sources, even if BOCES, we decide not to cross-contract with BOCES, that we can get this at very low cost with very high impact.
question, I'm sorry, just in terms of, you touched on it, I just want more in depth. Say I'm away, vacation, event, I'm in crisis. Um, how does that work?
So that's the beauty of our app, because we built this database of every emergency number in the U.S. You're in North Carolina. Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
geo-track the exact location of your phone, and so it's gonna call for the wellness check right there where you were located by that zip code. And so, it does, you know, so
It cuts down on that time intervention, which is unheard of. 988 can't do it.
So what is the overriding factor or feature in terms of, I got spotty Wi-Fi, but I'm in crisis?
Just like Uber Eats.
Okay.
Once you turn your phone on, your location settings it's
Okay.
once you're in session with the therapist, your location settings always it just turns on right away.
Okay.
And that's for the protection of, you know, if you go into crisis,
Okay.
you know where you're at, where to reach you immediately.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we thank you. Talk about revolutionary. I mean, what a powerful way of using technology. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Bonet. We really appreciate it. That's the end of my superintendent's report. Mr. Crawford? Resolution for consideration and donation of ProPhase Diagnostic. Uh, okay.
So this is actually a community member and a parent. She works for this particular lab, and they are moving to a new location. And they offered the high school first grab at any of the equipment that might be useful in our science labs.
A compensation. Do we need to vote on these? Okay. This is for discussion purposes only.
You have a date, May 15th. Tomorrow's the 15th.
Okay. So we would have to vote on, thank you. We'd have to vote on that.
Okay. First,
Walker.
Walker first, Moore second. Questions? Those in favor, those opposed, those abstaining, 6-0.
Are we ready for personnel?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Dr. Havisham?
Okay, resolution 10B1, district-wide appointment, accountant, certified sub, and part-time monitor. We're not voting, correct?
No.
Okay, resolution 10B2, recommendation for change in title, substitute guard to full-time guard.
I'm sorry, say that again, trustee?
April 23rd.
Yes, and it just made the board resolution. Okay.
Do we need to vote on that
She
now?
said because of the date, it needs to be voted on. Because it was April 23rd when he got the title change.
First, Baker second. Brown. Question?
Question. With respect to the title of the position, a full-time guard, how many vacancies do we have in this title?
I believe we have 3, which Mr. Opala had tabled. He didn't put them through this time, just this one.
And there's no civil service requirement for this position?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, so that being said, back in December, due to the district's ineffectiveness or not doing their job with canvassing the civil services, we fired someone and hired them as a substitute, and they're still working as a substitute. And now we're taking somebody off a substitute list to make them a full-time guard who was not that person, which I just can't seem to understand.
The security guard and the guard, 2 different.
I'll ask further in the executive session.
So you want to?
No, I have no
Table?
issue with this resolution.
You want to table it?
We can entertain the resolution. This is just about the position. I'll ask an exec, but it's
So-
something separate. We can handle the resolution though.
So, to your point, I'm confused. The person from December was a guard or security guard?
I don't remember. Do you remember, Trustee Morris?
They were,
Security guard.
they're currently working as a substitute guard.
No, but what were they prior to becoming a substitute guard?
A school security guard.
Yes. So,
But all I'm saying is, if we're gonna take people off the substitute list, then we need to do the right thing and do it the right way. The person was terminated due to things out of their control. And then if we're gonna now look at the substitute list and hire people so that they can get an increase in pay as well, then we should do right by that individual as well. That's all I'm saying.
so would you like to table this resolution?
It has nothing to do with this resolution. We can proceed with this resolution,
Okay.
but I'm talking from an operational standpoint.
Okay.
But there's 2 other vacancies. The first one, there's 2 other vacancies, correct?
Mhm.
Especially when,
Vacancies, which he has tabled, Mr. Opala has tabled to a later date.
okay.
He just pulled the resolution. He pulled his recommendations.
So they're voting on,
They're going to, they're voting on this particular one, correct?
so it still leaves 2 vacancies.
Yes.
Any other questions? Those in favor? Those opposed? You're taking a vote tonight?
Because it's April.
Because it's April 23rd.
It's already passed. The person needs to go to work.
Do you need us to table this? I need to state that I'm not aware of any vacancies for guards.
We can.
Can the first and second take this first and second back?
Wait a minute, what did he say?
He said he wanted to give it back for next week.
Yeah, he said he wasn't aware of any vacancies.
He wasn't right.
Mr. Wilson, what do you recommend? You want to table it or you want to vote? My table.
Okay.
If this was effective April 23rd, is this person being paid to table?
Being paid as a guard, correct? The second guard? You don't have no. If his current status is that of a substitute guard, he's getting whatever the district's substitute guard rate is. Substitute guard rate isn't determined by contract, it's by whatever the resolution is. So, so he's being paid whatever he's was entitled to be paid pursuant to a board resolution appointing him as a substitute guard.
And that needs to be changed from effective date. You need to change effective date after you, amend it.
No, he said, are you taking it back?
I know it's, no, I'm saying the effective date needs to be changed.
Yes. We'll do what needs to be done after speaking to Mr. Opala, and we'll be fine. So, you're okay, President Crawford? Yes.
Motion to table is a high privilege motion, and we can oversee the motion to approve.
So when we've been doing it,
Attorney, is that correct?
then you're gonna make me not perform mine.
Yep. Personnel 10B3, recommendation to grant permanent status to the following employee in the position of custodial aide.
And this, since it says effective 19th, this is where 2 more days?
Mm-hmm. Personnel 10B4, pulled, table for discussion. Personnel 10B5, the appointment of lead teacher, LFH.
Mr. Wilson, this still fall under the number we discussed with lead teachers in our building?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Okay. We never filled that spot, all of them?
She's overperformed her duties.
Yes.
She's simply, this should have been, if she had done what she was due, I'm afraid, this would have brought to you back in the fall.
October.
Yes.
So it's just cleanup work at this point.
Yes.
So do we need to vote on this tonight or no? We can wait till next week.
Yeah, I'd like to get it cleaned up sooner.
All right, motion on the floor for personnel 5. Baker first. Brown second. Questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The resolution should be amended to reflect a stipend, that would be for that time period, September 6th through October 30th, 2024. Says annual stipend is $6,000.
If we can accomplish that by inserting the word
Prorated. Prorated. Amend the agenda to add prorated.
Yeah, friendly amendment. It's
Got it?
done. Mm-hmm.
Friendly amendment. We have a first and second. Any other questions? Those in favor? Those opposed? Those abstaining? 6-0-0.
Personnel 10B6 was pulled for discussion.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, which
6 is withdrawn.
Okay. Yes. So once again, personnel 10B6 is withdrawn
No, withdrawn.
at the request of the superintendent.
Are you going once, going twice? Are you sure?
All right, business.
Good almost morning in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Business, just a hint, and the Knicks are losing, so. Business 10C1 is the budget transfers. A through, I forgot, A through I or something like that?
Question
A
regarding
through
budget
J.
transfers. The the first transfer in the amount of $90,000 being transferred from curriculum supervision to the superintendent line. What was it in the curriculum supervision line that we're taking $90,000 out? And why are we transferring to the superintendent line?
No, because the voter approved budget for this year
Mm-hmm.
call,
Somebody looking for you.
scared me. The approved budget for 24-25 called for a different salary for the superintendent than the board ultimately agreed to provide, causing a shortfall in that line of $90,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what would be, or was there a cushion in the curriculum supervision line, or?
It depends on your definition of cushion. What the reason there's 90,000 available in the curriculum development and supervision line is at least twofold. One being not all positions in that line item were filled on day one.
Mm-hmm.
And part two is some of the positions that were filled as of day one, we're going to be reassigning a portion of that salary elsewhere.
Got it. Thank you.
And Triad is our claims payer for the district's, for the portion of district's self-insured workers' comp claims that are still on the books. So again, this is a renewal contract. Business 10-3, if I may, is it's a fee request waiver submitted from Starflower Experiences in their wonderful program to do gardening, if you will, at on Tuesdays and Fridays at MLO, and also utilize the classroom number 20. And of course, a fee waiver is being requested. Without the waiver, the fee would be $84. And it's from what I've read and understand, it's been an annual program here for the last couple of years. Okay. And lastly, if I may proceed, is business C4, 10C4, and that's a resolution asking the board to accept the finalized ECAF special engagement audit report.
Curriculum?
Curriculum 10D1 are the field trips.
Do we need to take action on that tonight? No.
We don't need to.
Okay. Very good. Let's move on to pupil personnel services. Can I ask Mr. Baldini to take care of that?
Respectfully, on behalf of Dr. Bonet Martin, the resolutions for pupil personnel services are: first is an agreement for health and welfare services for parentally placed students of Wyandanch in the Amityville Union Free School District. And the second resolution is the same, health and welfare services for Wyandanch students who are parentally placed within the South Huntington Union Free School District. And that concludes pupil personnel services.
Special ed?
Then on to special education. Special education number 1 is we are seeking the board's approval for special education placements. Number 2 is an instructional services agreement for the Little Flower Union Free School District for special education students there.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Curiosity.
Yes.
Have we completed all annual reviews?
No, sir, not yet.
Gotcha.
The majority of them are, but there are definitely still some in progress.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. Special education number 3 is an instructional services agreement with UCP, United Cerebral Palsy. Special education number 4 is a contract with Illuminating Steps for behavioral services. Special education number 5 is instructional services agreement with Developmental Disabilities Institute, or DDI. Number 6 is an instructional services agreement with the Henry Viscardi School. Special education number 7 is a contract with Bilinguals Inc., doing business as Achieve Beyond. Special education number 8 is an instructional services agreement with the Hagedorn Little Village School. Special education number 9 is an instructional services agreement with the Mill Neck Manor School for the Deaf. And that concludes special education. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Board of Education. Support Operations 1 is an agreement between the district and Counselor Inc. to provide access to their app on a trial basis for the remainder of the 24-25 school year at no cost to the district.
Motion.
Okay, when would this begin?
Well, if the Board of Education approves tonight, I can begin sending over data and we can actually go live on May 14th. If they approve it next week, it's a week from that. Thank you. I'll send the file over now.
And just a point of order, there is a number 6 as well, but it didn't make it into the binders. It's on board docs. This is 5. There's a number 6 as well. So for number 5, academic eligibility policy. So am I actually reading the policy or the resolution? Yes. This is for 5. It's 5. It's in board docs. It should be the community service hour policy for 6, and then 5 is the academic eligibility policy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
employment of particular persons and to gain legal opinion or advice from counsel. The quicker we go in, how about this? The quicker we get in, the quicker we get out.